the Nurburgring, the new Porsche 918 Spyder, Walter Roll, and no chance to drive the car myself. Let's get this straight, I hate ride stories. They are rubbish. But I'm so unconvinced by the need for a heavy, hybrid hypercar that I thought I'd go and see what a 795 horsepower, 1700 kilogram part electric Porsche feels like from the wrong seat. And then have some clever people tell me why my skepticism is unfounded.
Silent mode.
Silent mode. That's just weird. That's just weird.
Cool, huh?
Wow. And how many miles can we go like this?
Miles.
Must say kilometers, like.
Okay, kilometers 150 about.
On one charge?
No. 25
kilometers. And but maximum is 150.
Yes.
Wow. That's just freakish. That's just freakish.
Cool.
It's flat.
That's flat.
I love the fact the rev counter isn't working.
Yes.
It doesn't need to, does it?
No. Just the electrical engine.
This man is the secret behind so many great Porsches and the way they drive. So, calibration king, honestly, real king. And this is the most complicated car you have ever calibrated?
Yes.
By a long way?
Yes, by a long way.
And we were discussing earlier, you reckoned something like 5 or 6 times the length to calibrate this car than a normal car? Maybe more?
At least, yes, I think so. But we made a lot of work with GT3.
Yeah.
And we put a lot of stuff from the GT3 to this car. And as well as I have a lot of guys which make all the calibration in this while simulation, and so I have about, I would guess, about 60%, perhaps 70% of all the calibration stuff with simulation.
And is it the same control unit for the chassis electronics as the GT3?
Yes, it's completely the same. Are you ready for race mode?
I think we're ready for race mode, aren't we?
Okay.
So. Yes, I think we can say that that's a slight change in character. Wow. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Wow. It's, how can I describe it? It's a flat plane sound, so you really feel that it's a flat plane crank. So it doesn't sound like a normal V8, it sounds like a racing V8. Quite cool actually, so we're in a 918 Spyder turning up to the public entrance.
Yes.
You certainly get some views.
I think the people like our new car.
Well, that's quite an interesting motor car. Okay, Frank, this is your baby.
Kind of.
I know there's an element of nerves because it's the first time that you've allowed us into a car that's as finished as this. Have to say, of the ones that's out today, this is my favourite livery. This is the psychedelic one, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It does look absolutely awesome. Let's talk about some specific points of technical stuff here that I'm just blown away by this car. First of all, curb weight. So we have the most extraordinary packaging exercise here, and this car is 1,700 kilograms?
1700 kilograms is the standard car. With the Weissach package, we expect 1665.
Yeah.
So even a little bit less. And weight is, of course, one of our toughest tasks to bring it down as low as possible.
So if you applied normal technology, and when I mean normal technology, I mean for a normal GT series car like GT3 technology and materials, to a car of this package, how much would it weigh, do you think?
We made a comparison to Carrera GT, what was definitely a light car in that time. And if you compare the basic car without the hybrid components, this car is 100 kilograms lighter than a Carrera GT. And if I compare it to GT3 or GT2, so the 911 standard based, I expect another 50, 80 kilograms plus.
Okay. So we've got a carbon tub with carbon structures attached as well. The engine is attached. Is that in an aluminium frame or is it?
No, that's also carbon fiber.
It's all carbon fiber as well.
Frame, like the Carrera GT.
Yeah.
And Porsche is the only one that is doing also the frame for the engine in carbon fiber.
Okay. Weight distribution is
57 in the back, 43 in the front.
Is this
same,
optimum for you?
That's optimum. That's the same like RS Spyder.
Yeah.
And with that we won many races.
Yes.
So
fair enough. I can't argue with that. Some interesting technical points for me on a practical level is this tyre that you've developed with Michelin, which apparently the claim is it's giving you kind of rolling resistance of a of almost like an eco tyre, and yet you've got massive amounts of grip from it as well.
Exactly, and that tyre, as always, is extremely important, and here it helped us to bring our both very tough targets like the fuel consumption on one side and the track performance on the other side really together also in one tyre.
Okay, now for me this feels like we're moving into an era that's very much like 1987. Bear with me here. In 1987, Porsche built a car called the 959. Remember that one? Quite a cool car. And Ferrari built a car called the F40. Now when you launch this car next year, there's going to be a new Ferrari, we think as well, that might be called an Enzo something, I don't know, son of Enzo, what do they call it? Now, there were comparisons between the F40 and the 959. The 959 was a technical showcase for Porsche, and that's exactly what this car is, isn't it?
So
this is a technical showcase.
Yes.
And we expect to see this technology coming through other Porsches in the future, don't we?
For sure. If you're doing cars like that, it's not only for engineers fun, it must come out something for other Porsches. That's why we are really advanced, not only in the drivetrain, but also in the technology of the body panels, also the instrument cluster, of the steering wheel, of the seat generation. All these things can be then taken to other Porsches. And we will see concepts, we will see parts, we will see ideas also in future Porsches.
Okay, now the tough question. People like me look at this car and say it's an incredible engineering exercise, and having been in it now, it's staggering to go along the road like that silently and then for someone to flick a switch and go, should we go full hybrid now? Bang, and this engine in sport mode just erupts. It's a new sensation, and that's what cars like this should be all about. They should be about new sensations. But what about this car without all the electricity in it? At 1200 kilograms with 500 horsepower. What's your counter argument to that?
I always say, why you want to be slower? You have this additional electric power, this is number one, and more serious, number two is the questions of the future. And for us it was very fundamental. Will the future sports car exist in the future? Will they be accepted? Will customers accept that the fuel consumption of super sports cars is different to the everyday car? And we said, no, we have to give a technical answer to something like that. And that's why we decided for this very, very extreme concept by adding the hybrid power in that car. And we see by driving, it's much more fun. You have more different cars. You get different cars in one package. You have an EV side, you have a hybrid side, and you have a race side in that car. So I'm fully convinced this is a concept for the future, and this shows what will be possible.
It's quite a compelling answer, actually. Yeah. It's quite a good answer, irritatingly good answer. Okay, there's a bit of me that still wants to drive an RS Spyder for the road. Ever since you let me drive one, 2006, wasn't it? And I thought I'd love to drive one of these with a number plate on it. So maybe I have to wait a bit longer. It is a stunning engineering exercise, I have to say, and the level of calibration that goes on to make this electricity talk to this internal combustion engine, talk to the front axle, talk to the back axle, talk to the differential. I mean, it's so complicated. Is it more complicated than you thought it was going to be?
No, I was not surprised, but it's still the level of the complexity and to organize everything and that these different engineering teams come together. That's really a task. I'm not surprised by the complexity. In day-to-day life, you sometimes think maybe less would be better to make your day just easier. But if we see then the benefit, if it works, and if we see how the car here performs on the track, and if we see the fuel consumption that we have, then we say, okay, this was perfect. That's really the right approach on that.
Okay, within the package, we've got carbon fibre this, we've got new technologies with the hybrid powertrain. The one thing that seems to get forgotten is how special on its own this internal combustion engine is. Now, much as I love your electricity, I'm an engine man still. So talk to me about this engine, right? 140 kilograms. Tell me a bit about the spec, the insides, how it works.
This is, well, where to start? Maybe, well, it's coming from the engineering team from the RS Spyder. That was for the first time in Porsche with a completely new V8. Very light, very powerful engine that time. And the idea was now taking this very light engine, as we had, as the target was to bring the curb weight of the car down. We said, okay, a normally aspirated engine is always the lightest one, so this will fit in a car like that. And so we decided to take over the concept of the RS Spyder in a street legal engine. Well, different displacement, and at the end of the day it's a new engine, but we have still the same designers, the same engineers working on that thing. And I think that makes it so powerful, so unique. And it's so close to the race engine that's really, really amazing. It's 9,000 RPM revving, it's titanium connection rods. And one nice story was when we asked the supplier and sent the data to the supplier of the crankshaft, he called us back and said, hey guys, which race car? We said, no race car, street car. And they said, you are crazy.
So we're 9,000 RPM, effectively a race crank, but because you have all this electricity for your auxiliaries, no belts, no nothing.
No belts. It's and the decision to make a new engine says, okay, if you're doing the design from scratch, throw out the belts. That helped us in the length of the engine. It's an engine like that. That's really small and tiny thing, and also with these electric motors, they have the low end torque. We can add the high-end torque of the combustion engine, and that gives this wonderful flat line that gives you overtaking power all the time.
So, at the heart of 918 is still a really special internal combustion engine.
Exactly. And Walter, I asked him, Walter, what do you think about electric drive? And he said, I love it if I have it additionally. So that brings it down, and in fact, without this engine, also without that engine, we couldn't achieve the fuel consumption. Because if I calculate the other way around, 3 liters, and then considering to having not a plug-in, not a hybrid, means that this combustion engine has a fuel consumption approximately 11 to 12 liters. And 11 to 12 liters in that car means it's 45% less in fuel consumption than a Carrera GT for a 580 plus horsepower 4.6 V8, and that's really, really low.
I think it's a spectacular thing, and obviously you can see the exhaust, you can see the design touches. We could go on for hours.
For sure.
I'm becoming convinced.
That's good. Very good.
The 918 is something new. It's exciting and clever, but just as it teaches us that we have to change, I still can't stop wanting a lighter car without all the clever, heavy electric stuff. But what do I know? Here's Mark Lieb, the very best racing driver around the Nordschleife, to tell us what the 918 feels like to drive fast. A few hours after this was shot, he posted a stunning 7-minute, 14-second lap.
It feels very fast, actually, everywhere. It feels fast in the corners, it feels fast in the straightaway, it's really good in the braking.